im se svima, i malima i velikima, i bogatima i siromašnima, i slobodnjacima i robovima, dade žig na njihovu desnu ruku ili na čela njihova, te da nitko ne može ništa kupiti ili prodati.
Pozdrav dragi narode, dobrodošli u još jednu epizodu Slobodnog. Današnja tema je ponovno 5G. Naime, svi znamo da je u implementaciji 5G tehnologija i u Hrvatskoj kao i u cijelom svijetu. Postavljaju se mnoga pitanja o sigurnosti po ljudsko zdravlje, također o efikasnosti i o ukupnoj uopće potrebi da se ta tehnologija razvija brzinom kojom se upravo razvija. Postoje određeni ljudi koji smatraju da postoje opasnosti za ljudsko zdravlje i poduzeli su određene korake po tom pitanju. Tako današnji moj gost je zajedno sa svojim timom poduzeo korake protiv belgijske vlade upravo zbog propisanih novih standarda koji oni smatraju nanose štetu ljudskom zdravlju i nisu propisani na odgovarajući način. Od sada nadalje ovaj razgovor ćemo voditi na engleskom jeziku. Hello Peter, welcome to our show in Croatia.
Thank you very much, Andrej. You look great.
Can you say a few words about yourself, your background for our audience in Croatia?
Yes, I'm 60 years old and my background comes from the military, where I have been a civil engineer and a pilot, helicopter pilot. I left the military 8 years ago and started investigating in other things, and one of them is the issue of the impact of electromagnetic radiation on our health. I'm giving presentations on the topic for 8 years, and I do it in a very holistic way. That means I explain everything that people should know about this, because in my experience, the government and the industry is not telling us the real story. Actually, they're not telling us the truth. Right. And until now, I'm still doing this.
Great. In that purpose, can you tell us, for our audience, what our government doesn't tell us? What is important to know about this technology? And tell us your just short lecture of yours.
Well, basically, it's all about the radiation standards that are implemented in all the countries, actually, in Europe as well as in the world. And according to our knowledge, the radiation standards that are in place now are actually harmful for humans, plants, and animals. And that is based on advanced scientific understanding of the toxicity in high-frequency non-ionizing radiation. What the government actually is not telling us is they're hiding these studies. And for me, the industry is a very powerful industry that influences the governments. And of course, they want to develop economic new developments. They don't want to put a brake on technology. But this is a dangerous technology.
And what is the biggest dangers for our health?
There are two topics that I deal with, actually. The first topic is the health issue. Actually, the radiation standards that are out there and put by the government and the European Commission are basically too high. And that is based on advancing scientific understanding. And there are 1,000 reports that mention health issues with people. You have to be aware that about 10 to 15% of the people in my country, your country, and all over Europe are suffering what they call electro-hypersensitivity. That is a very high number, and that number is until now neglected by the government and the industry. The second thing that I want to mention is the danger of 5G. 5G will increase the health issues, that's for sure, at least according to me. And the second danger of 5G is that 5G is a completely different technology compared to the previous technologies, and is a technology that is capable of more controlling and more following people.
What is the difference between 4G and 5G?
That's a good question. Basically, what they tell us is that 5G is the successor of 4G. For me, that's not the case. 5G is a completely different technology because it's based on radar technology. You can look at 5G like this compared to 4G. 4G is an antenna that radiates in all directions. 5G will direct through radar technology a beam of radiation to your mobile phone or any other apparatus, but you as a human being, you will be in that beam. So you can actually compare it to an arrow of electromagnetic radiation that will be directed to your body. Now, your body will try to cope with it, but it will feel it. The problem is that according to the standards, they only look at the heating of the body. That means the only parameter they use is the body heating up or not? They never look at the biological effects inside the body. And these biological effects are there, and therefore 5G is basically a dangerous technology.
Can you tell us some about your present knowledge? What damage could actually made this technology to human health?
Yes, actually these biological mechanisms are well known. It will create a stress reaction in your body. Now, stress is harmful. Apart from that, there are two main medical issues, and one is the leakage of the brain-blood barrier, they call. That means that under influence of high electromagnetic radiation, the brain-blood barrier will start to leak, which allows heavy metals to go into the brain, which can lead to kind of nerve diseases. Second thing is that on the cells, the human cells, under influence of radiation, the cell will start leaking, and we get too much calcium into the cell, which leads to depletion of what they call the mitochondria, and the mitochondria are actually the batteries of the cell. So what you see out there in the world, that a lot of people are tired. Look at your environment. You see it more and more. People are more and more tired. They feel tired. They feel exhausted. That's not only because of the work they do. There is a second phenomenon. Electromagnetic radiation is one of them. And there are a number of studies out there, but they are never taken seriously by the governments or the panels of scientific specialists who are selected by the government, basically.
How long is it necessary to be exposed to this radiation to feel negative effects on the health?
Basically, you will be influenced immediately. As from the moment that you are in an electromagnetic field, your body might react positively or negatively. Actually, we need electromagnetic radiation. We need sunshine. We need the Earth magnetic field. Without radiation, we would not be alive, that's for sure. But the technical radiation that we developed is they call it pulse radiation, and actually it's kind of a pulse that knocks on your body. Your body will cope with it. So if you're in good health, you will probably not feel anything. You will not be aware of it. The issue most of the time is when people get sick or have other issues, then you will have to take electromagnetic radiation into account. And when you are sick, you go to sleep, you eat less, you drink a lot of water. You will also have to take into account the radiation issue and put your phone away, close the PC, and try to live in a low radiation environment.
And tell me, this 5G technology demands to have more stations to have faster pulse signal for use.
Yes. Basically, what is happening now is the 5G frequencies that will be rolled out in the future, and that there is a very dangerous evolution, because now the laws in Europe and in all the countries inside of Europe are in the process of being adapted or are already adapted, but they will start using higher frequencies. The first frequency band is the 3.6 gigahertz, but it will go up to 26 gigahertz, 43 gigahertz, and even now the legal system is there to use frequencies up to 300 gigahertz. Now, if you want to use higher frequencies, the problem with these high frequencies is that it will not penetrate through walls or to forests. So, in order to solve this, you will have to put more antennas. And more antennas, I mean a factor 1,000 and even more.
And these antennas will have to be implemented in the streets, on the houses, where?
Yes, on the streets, on each and every corner of the streets, on light poles, on everything that is available. Be aware as well, they will try to get 5G inside your house through your modem, through whatever is inside your house, domotica, and so on. So that is something that I recommend for people to be aware of. Try to keep it out of the houses as long as possible. By the way, until now, and I give lectures for many years already, I did not find any single application that requires 5G inside my house. I did not find any application that requires 5G inside a school, inside a healthcare center, inside anything. So my big question is, why do we need 5G all over the country?
That means you claim that we can live without 5G with this present technology and it's enough for development.
Yes, what I'm trying to explain is I'm not necessarily against 5G. I'm not necessarily against technical development. I'm an engineer myself, but use 5G on the locations where it is required. I mean, if you have a port in Croatia and that requires 5G, feel free. If you have an industrial zone that requires 5G, use it. But please explain me why, if I send my young children to school, why 5G is needed inside that school. Because you will put the children into a bath all day long of electromagnetic radiation, and that will harm them. That doesn't mean that you have to get rid of your computers or whatever you want to use in school, but connect them through cable, not through 5G. You see? So there are solutions, but covering the whole country with 5G, that's a dangerous evolution.
And now it's the logical question, why they are forcing implementing 5G?
That's the $1 million question, of course. According to me, there are multiple reasons. First of all, it's an economical reason. They want us to buy things. Otherwise, if we stop buying things, then the economy goes down. That's one thing. Second thing, for me, there is a hidden agenda behind it. And these hidden agendas are more controlling people, more cameras, CBDC, the central digital currency that I want to implement in Europe, digital passports. Right now they call it the Internet of Things. That means that is the technology that is capable of connecting actually each and every apparatus that you have inside or outside your house, your car, your fridge, to the internet. You see, they're trying to make us used to these things. The second step for me that we have to be very vigilant about is the future generations of these Gs, and then I'm talking about 6G, 7Gs. Basically, 6G will be 5G on nanotechnology. So that means they can put it inside your body. And then you create, instead of the Internet of Things, you will create the Internet of Bodies. You see?
Yes.
Nobody is talking about it, but it's a real opportunity for government to connect us bodies all to the government, to the system.
Yes, we can say nobody publicly talking about in the mainstream media, but I know because I know people who they are calling them conspiracy theorists, and I'm one of them. And we heard about Internet of Bodies. Can you explain us how they can make this first Internet of Things? Maybe this is something that we can more understand, but then Internet of Bodies, how they can implement this technology to make it?
Well, they will try to do it very subtle. I always use in my lectures the example of the Internet of Things. When you buy a new fridge today, you will be able to buy a fridge with a Wi-Fi and a camera in it. So if you go to the supermarket, you can use your phone and look into your fridge in the supermarket and check how many tomatoes you still have left in the fridge. Now that looks very convenient. For me, it's stupid, but that's the thing. But you see, they step by step, they making us adaptive to receive these things. Right. Now, the second thing is they will try to sell it differently. Now we all have an identity card and a passport. If we travel, you need a passport and a lot of documents. They will sell us, well, we can put a chip into your body that contains all these data, so you don't have to bother anymore about papers. Okay, then comes the medical file. If you have, what is your medical status? So, well, it might be convenient that we follow you daily, Andrei, and the system will monitor your health. So there I go. No, why do I want a system to control my health? I'm perfectly capable to do this for myself. Already, it exists already at Amazon in the US, where the employees can build in a chip in their arm, and they can go to the Coca-Cola vending machine and buy a Coca-Cola just using their chip. And all the rest goes automatic. So you see, it goes a very subtle way, and they're trying to sell us this through things that are, pretty much convenient. That's how they sell us. So it requires consciousness from us to say, wait, do we really need this? Do you need a chip into your body so that in the morning a computer tells you if you have slept well or not? I mean, for God's sake, ask your wife if you have slept well or not, or vice versa.
Maybe you already know. Are you tired or not? Just one thing. If they want to take care of our bodies, then in the case, if we want to buy Coca-Cola, they shouldn't allow us to buy it.
Yes, that might be the good thing, but I don't know. You know who's ruling the world, does it? Yeah. Coca-Cola is one of them.
Exactly, shareholders of Coca-Cola, but that's another topic. Let's continue.
Yes.
Del, this is the way how they will implement Internet of Things. That means all things that we're using be connected, and we can control it maybe even through our smartphone, or what I heard, one guy from, I think it was Microsoft, doesn't matter, on World Economic Forum, he says from 10 years from now, exactly until 2030, we will have smartphones implemented in us.
Yes, I heard that too. Yeah. And I think that technology exists already. When you're in the military, then you see a lot of things, and that's a hidden thing. It's like radar technology, all these technologies in the military. So they first are being developed in the military, and then at one point you see a spillover coming to the civilian market. Building in things into your body is one of them. Cameras, sensors, all kind of sensors, and perhaps smartphones. Now, we can stop this if we want to, but we have to just not accept it, and we have to be a lot of people. Actually, perhaps we have to redefine the word well-being. I mean, is all this technology really contributing to our well-being? I mean, for me, it's not the case. Each and every technology that is out there has good things and has bad things. The art of us is to decide, okay, we will use this thing only for the good things and we will wipe out the bad things. And that is what we should try to do. But yes, that technology exists, and if you let it to the industry, they will try to implement all kind of things into our body. Actually, there is a very good example already. In Germany, there is a company that is making commercials to grow babies outside the womb. You see, that's an article. I have it in my files. There's a company who's making.
I saw video of this
right.
technology. Well,
so is this the future we want to go to? I mean, where is the connection between the child and the mother? We are much more than only pure physical bodies. We are emotional, we are mental, we are energetic bodies, and they're trying to get rid of these, to rip these bodies out of each other. So for me, there is a couple of red lines that I do not want to go over. And what I see is that more and more people, and that's a good thing, are becoming conscious and are starting to draw red lines, especially when children are concerned, because the children should be our biggest concern, of course.
Well, I will cover all these topics. And just to add something, when you mentioned this outside of body womb, maybe this is the reason why they want us to believe that there is no mother and father, there is only parent 1 and parent 2. And after we go to this agenda of parent 1 and 2, that doesn't matter where the baby is coming from.
Right, I agree with you. That's a very dangerous evolution that actually has been written already in the book of George Orwell, 1984. I recommend to your audience to start rereading that book, because I read it 30 years ago. Basically, that's the state will organize everything for you, and the states will decide what is best for you. So
let's go a little more in technician part, because we are now in the politics, and we don't have enough time to explain everything. That means Internet of Bodies will be that part of this technology will be implemented in our body by force, without our knowledge, or with our acceptance.
Yes, one of the three possibilities are possible.
Okay.
And yeah.
Please continue.
As I said, we are still developing. 5G is being rolled out, but the 6G and 7G is already in development. As I said before, 6G, you can expect 5G on nanotechnology. Nanotechnology means that you don't see it with the naked eye, basically.
Okay. Is this Internet of Bodies part of the 6G?
No, I would not say it like this, but the possibility exists. You see, I'm very careful always when I explain things. For me, it's clear. When you ask me straight away offline, do you think that is a possibility? I would say yes, but I always am a little bit careful when I explain things to people until I can really prove it. Right now, I cannot prove this, that 6G will be the platform to bring this technology into our bodies, but it is a possibility. That's what I'm sure of. Will that be the case? For today, I do not know this yet.
I appreciate that you're doing this way, because this show is also for people who want to find the proof. We don't want to talk theoretically or talking about assumptions. We have to prove everything. We have experience that difference between this theory, that with conspiracy theory and reality is few months. But we cannot say about everything that's the same. That's why I'm looking for proof. In this moment, we can say that it's dangerous for our body, for our health, and this technology is now implemented. And as I know, there is an International Commission on Non-Ionizing Radiation Protection, who made new directives that this radiation is allowed as a safe. You made some new claims against Belgium government. Can you tell us about this?
Yes, we made, actually we are 4 people, 2 technicians and 1 legal guy who worked for 10 months. We did investigation for 10 months and we came out with a well-established file that takes now 7,000 pages, and we go to justice. In that file, we attack the government. We blame the government that they're not doing enough to take care of the health of the people. That's one thing. We are also trying to go through the legal laws, which means that basically we say that our government, as well as Europe, is violating a number of laws. Belgian laws, European laws, and even the Human Rights Treaty. And that is respect for private life, prohibition of torture, respect for private life, the right that we have for physical and mental integrity, and so on. The third part of the file is that we are exposing that international commission, as well as all the advisory organs that exist in our country, and we expose them, explaining that they all have links to the industry. And that has been proven already for 10 years. So the ICN IRP, who is basically a non-profit organization composed of 23 scientifics, there is only 1 or 2 of them who is a specialist in health. The other ones are more technical engineers. They do not write standards. They write guidelines. And that's a huge difference. By writing guidelines, they do not take any responsibility either. The responsibility lays with the European governments and the national governments. The problem is they all hide under the umbrella of the ICN IRP. You see? Mm-hmm. So in the end, nobody seems to be responsible anymore. Mm-hmm. If you start digging, then you will see that basically all the so-called specialists who are advising governments, who are making standards, are linked to the industry. So it's a very dirty game. Now, what we need, why we wrote this claim, of course. Well, we hope that we can win something. I do not expect us to win it, basically, because until now we noticed that we enter in a kind of legal battle between lawyers and the system, and until now I did not find any lawyer of the opposing parties, which is the regional government in our country, who has actually read our file completely. So that is how it goes these days. It's a legal battle, and we will see how it goes anyway. The advantage is, however, that the file that we wrote has been picked up in different countries already now. So we are making connections, and there is a kind of awareness growing in the public that we cannot let the government do freely as they want to do. So that's basically what's happening.
That means that even in Croatia we can take this claim, translate it, and make the same thing in Croatia against Croatian government.
I think that basically around 60% to 70% of what we wrote can be translated and can be used against the Croatian government, indeed.
Okay. For sure, for our audience, I'll put in a link below this show where you can find all the documents, and if you want to go to make a claim against Croatian government for the same topic, you are welcome. Tell me, what is your demand from the government?
our demand is basically we want to review the radiation standards. They have to be much lower compared to what they are now. That's one thing. We want actually a moratorium on the 5G, because basically nobody knows, but there has been a briefing in the European Commission 2 years ago, and there is literally has been said that there has been not one single health effect study has been done on 5G. Oops. Not one single one. See? Third is that we want them to review the commissions that make recommendations and that write reports to the government, because they are basically corrupted, or they do not work in according to, let's say, standards that we all expect them to do. You see? Yeah, that's basically it.
Okay, and then concerning these standards, what this INCRIP brought, what do you think? What is the safe level of radiation that can be allowed in the present? Because, as I know, you are claiming that old standards are already too high, not only new ones that are proposed in 2020.
No, actually the ICNIRP standards are way too high. Why are they way too high? Because, as I said before, they only take into account thermal effects. That means they put you in a bath of radiation and they will measure your temperature. If the temperature rises, then they will have to lower the power of the radiation. That's the only rule they apply. Now, there are many studies out there who actually study biological effects. The ICNIRP guidelines are only one standard. Okay, there exist other guidelines, and they are called biological guidelines. One of them has been written already 15 years ago in a report that is the Bio-Initiative report. Actually, there is a study group within the European Union that has written some standards as well. Now, the problem with the difference between the ICNIRP standard and these biological standards is a factor that goes to 1 billion to 10 billion of difference. I repeat, so we should lower these standards with a factor 1 billion in order to reduce the biological effects to zero. You see where the problem lies.
Yes, and then for better explanation, tell to our audience why is necessary for industry to have so high standards?
I don't know. They want, of course, to use their technology the cheapest way they can. Now, if you have to put one antenna, you put one antenna, and you give the antenna enough power so that you can receive the signal of, I don't know, 10 kilometers out there. Okay. A normal phone, because that's a lie they tell us. I mean, they always want to increase these standards because they call it, yeah, it's for our safety, because you have to be able to call an ambulance and so on. Now, if you lower the current standards with a factor 1,000, you're still able to call an ambulance. So it's all about money, it's all about economic growth, it's all about new technology, it's all about selling us things that basically we do not need.
Okay, is it true that implementing of this technology is very expensive, and for that purpose they need lots of users to make return on investment?
Yes, as I mentioned before, the number of antennas will have to increase. So the higher the frequency, the more power will be needed as well to put a signal in there. I mean, that's a standard. Now, if you make it a short signal, the power will decrease, but they want to try to multiply the number of operators out there by a factor 1,000, 10,000, or even 1 million. So that's basically why they want to connect everything to the internet. Now, it happened in China where they rolled out 5G already. Now they had a lack of number of users, and the electricity bill for the telecom operator, was too high. So they shut the whole system down during night. You see, that's where the power of the people lies. We can decide what's happening, but we have to be conscious and we have to be aware. If we do not buy the things that we do not want to buy, they will end up in problems. Because the return of investment is enormous, and that's what they expect. But if we say stop and we put everything on hold, they will enter into problems. So that's basically a little bit my hope, certainly when it comes to protecting young people and children.
That means you're suggesting that if we want to fight against this dangerous level of radiation, not against technology, okay? We are for, you're an engineer, I'm using technology, I'm for the technology and development, but
yes,
not on the cost of health. If we want to fight against it, we have to decide not to use this 5G technology, not to use it. And in this case, there will be no profit and return on investment for big companies who are investing in this. And there is a major one in Europe, and they will stop with this implementation.
Yes, that is what I'm kind of striving for. Now you cannot expect that the people who are leading us are aware of what we are talking about, because I talked to several mayors already. At one point they became aware and they invited me and say, okay, what they literally told me is, say, this 5G technology, I do not know a lot about it, but please tell me, because I hear more and more complaints of people who are suffering health problems, who are worried, and so on. So the mayor in the village or in the cities might be the key persons to try to inform, because they will as well be confronted with the fact that antennas will be implemented all over the place in their village or city. And the question is, do they actually know this? And do they actually want this? Because again, it's a public relation issue. They want to sell this under the umbrella of smart cities. You see?
Yes. Everything will be smart, except
yes,
politicians.
Yes, but you have to know.
And corrupt. But, okay.
Yeah.
But that's just my complaint.
Yeah, but most of the people do not know what smart means. They think smart is intelligent. Yeah, it is intelligent, but smart also implements sensors, it implements technology, it implements links, and it implements controlling everything that happens inside that area. That is smart. And you have to write it in capitals.
Yeah, all in capitals.
Yes.
Yeah, well, tell me another thing. Not only that has the consequences on our health, also on the environment. That means plants, animals, and everything else.
Yes. One of the big issues is all the bees are dying. Try to remember, you're already a little bit of age, Andrea.
Yes, I am.
Remember 30 years ago when you drove your car. And you drove 1,000 kilometers. Each and every time you had to stop and fill your tank, you had to wipe your window, front window. Now, when I leave Belgium and I drive to Spain, I do not have to wipe my front window one single time anymore. So the insects are gone. There is a huge decline in insects. Trees and plants are suffering. The bees are gone. If the bees die, we die too. There are a number of studies out there who study the impact on the environment. It's not a lie. It's not a hypothesis. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's out there. Now, there are multiple factors, of course. Pesticides are one of them, but radiation is most certainly one of them too. There is another issue, basically, because I get that question a lot. It's just like, okay, is 5G linked to the coronavirus and so on? Well, I have been thinking a lot about this, and I have 3 reports right now in my possession where scientists study and they have made a map, and the map shows the amount of electromagnetic radiation in our environment, especially the Western environment. And then they have put the corona map on top of it, and there is a link there. Now, I never say that 5G creates corona. What I'm saying, though, is that 5G has an impact on our immune system. And our immune system goes into problems. Now, a virus is capable of adapting much more faster to the environment than compared to our humans. We need time. So each and every virus that has to adapt to a new environment has 2 or 3 years advance to us. Now, that period is where the virus is free to operate, you see? And we need to find mechanism to oppose it, but we will. And that has been written already in the book of Arthur Furstenberg. It's a thick book where he sees this evolution through time, the last 150 years, and it started with electricity. That's where nature is adapting. We need to adapt too, but the problem these days it goes so fast that we do not get the time to adapt. We need basically 100 years to adapt our body to this new environment. See?
Mm-hmm. I understand. I also read something about connection between pandemics on 1820, 1920, and now 2020. Whenever new technology came up, then somehow came pandemic. And also I spoke to some people who told me that symptoms of radiation sickness is similar flu-like symptoms.
Yes, it's correct. That's true. You will be exhausted. You get tired. People are running into burnouts. You get headaches. You get sore throats. You get muscle pain. These are all systems. These are all symptoms of electromagnetation as well. Now, if your body cannot cope with it anymore, then you will see people suffering from electro-hypersensitivity. That means that they cannot operate normally anymore when they go to the cities or anywhere else. So these are the people who are actually fleeing to the forest to be able to live properly. And there are more people than you think. I always explain to adult people as well, look at the young children. Be aware that these days more and more sensitive young children are being born, and we have to protect them against an overload of radiation. They will get sick. They will be damaged. They are more sensible to these dangers than compared to us adults. So look at the children, please. That's certainly one of my goals, why I'm doing this.
Well, I understand. Unfortunately, I have to tell you that in Croatia, last 3 months was the record low birth rate in Croatia's history. And nobody wants to talk about it now, but it's another topic. We have to think about the children in the future. Let's come to Croatia. We have here some interesting things. For example, our Prime Minister says that Croatia will be first country in Europe totally digitalized. Great, fantastic. He didn't say that we will be prototype, but I understood that we will be some example for everybody else. At the same time, we have huge investments in one factory, very good factory, they said. I've never been there. and they granted them 180 million euros with presumption if they succeed, they will pay back. If they don't succeed, they will not have to pay anything back. And they have to develop self-driving taxis. As I understand, and you correct me, there is no self-driving taxis if we don't have 5G implementation in a country.
That is not true. You see, that's another lie. That's another public relation. Two things I want to mention. I've been a pilot. I was a helicopter pilot, but 20 years ago already, technology was able to put a plane. You go in, sit into the plane takes off automatically, goes to its destination, and lands automatically. That is technically possible. The question is, do we want this? Why are there still two pilots in there? That's one thing. Now, letting planes fly that way is easy. Cars is another thing. Do you need 5G? I don't think so. The car that Tesla develops today does not use 5G. That's one thing. Second thing, but even more important, and I ask this question each and every time when I give a lecture, who wants a self-driving car? There is not one single person in my audience, and I've given a lot of lectures, who raise their hand and say, I want a self-driving car. Yes, the only reason why they want a self-driving car is when they get drunk and need to get home. But then I say, I hope your car will recognize your voice when you get drunk to drive you home, because I don't think so. You see, there is a technical issue, and there is a human issue. I explained this. Learning to drive a car is giving to young people a technical skill. You have to use your head, your two hands, and your 2 feet to drive a car. It's a victory on yourself. Everybody is happy when he gets his driver's license. There are two dates in your lifetime that are very happy. The one is when you get your driver's license. The second one is when you get married. From the second one, that can be that can change. But the first one you will never forget.
Maybe that's why you use this second finger.
Yes. You see? So the question is, do we need self-driving cars? To do what? Because accidents will happen. I was working in the flight simulator industry as well. Believe me, there is not one single complicated technical system out there that has no software bugs.
Okay, great.
And we will go and rely on self-driving cars. Why? To do it, will it improve safety? No. Will traffic go faster? No. It's an illusion. You see, it's public relations. Same thing with drones. There is a big example with drones. You will see this everywhere. Drones to do this, to do this, to do this. I flew with helicopters 20 years ago. I had cameras underneath it. I could read a license plate on a car by night from 5 kilometers distance. Okay? Now these cameras who were that big are now that big. They put them under drones. What does that mean? If you put a camera under a drone, you can see and observe people from a distance between 5 to 10 kilometers, day and night. Now, do we want this? Do we really want this? I mean, people are not aware from it. And then they enter into this discussion. Yes, but Peter, I don't have to hide anything. I don't have anything to hide. Really? Everybody has something to hide. And even if you don't have to hide anything, the system can make something that tomorrow you will have to hide something. You see? So it's all about, we have to be aware what we allow into our society and what we don't need. Self-driving cars is a big question. Drones is a big question. A lot of cameras, too many cameras is a big question. It's not about safety, it's about control.
Well, and just one more thing, please, for the end, because you mentioned already digital ID and digital money and digital wallet. We can run this digital money without 5G, as I understand, right?
Sure.
Okay.
And as long as it is complementary to the actual material money. I mean, I don't have anything against digital money, but if they evolve to only digital money, then I have a big problem there.
Okay.
See?
And I saw one governor of one of central banks in the United States. They have 12 central banks, and he says, "I understand the digital money, but all technology that we need to do the things what digital money doing, we already have.
Sure.
Only if we want to implement Chinese kind of control of spending and using money, then you will need digital money."
Yes, the problem is not the digital money itself. The problem is the C in front of it, CDBC. You see, it's central digital money. That means that all that money will be centralized and goes through the central bank. Your personal bank, where you meet your local bank director and you have a talk with him about your investments, will disappear. So the C in front of it is the danger, because that means that whatever transaction you pay will go through a central system that can be in your country or in Europe, and that allows the governments to decide whether you can spend it or not. You see?
Yes.
Understand? That means that they can decide that you can leave your village or your city, but you cannot go to Germany because there your money will not be valid. And that's the danger in there.
Well, thank you, Peter. We cover other things behind 5G, but everything is connected. That's why I was asking this kind of question. For sure, we have to continue to discuss about this. Please inform us about your claims, what is happening. And if you have any other information, please contact me. We will discuss again. My goal here is to get informed and also to provide this information to people, because as you said, the major corporations and governments are hiding the main information, and that's why people cannot decide for themselves on the right way.
Right, I totally agree with you on that one. My goal is as well, inform people. The more people that are informed, the better we will be able to make good decisions instead of bad decisions. You have to be aware that the telecom industry for me is operating like a kind of organized crime organization. The only goal is benefits. There are good people in there. There are people who are aware of what's happening, but it's up to the people, you and me, to inform more and more people so that we at least can guide this monster in a good way.
Well, for the end, I heard one lawyer who says criminal organization or corporation because they cannot run a business without criminal activities. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope we see you soon again about same topic.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Evo, dragi narode, čuli ste malo novih informacija, ja se nadam za neke nove, neki već znaju što se događa i kao što ste čuli, moj cilj je da otvorimo ove teme. Postavite si pitanje, da li nam treba to što nam implementiraju? Dakle, još jedanput naglašavam, stvarno koristim tehnologiju svaki dan, učimo o toj tehnologiji, nastojim stvarno implementirati sve u svom životu. Ali naravno, ja sam taj koji odlučuje što ću implementirati, što mi treba, što ne. Što će mi biti nametnuto i zbog čega, to je nešto oko čega želim razgovarati. Tako i u ovom slučaju. Da li nam treba 5G za svu tehnologiju koju sad ovog časa koristimo ili je višak? Da li uistinu ovo što kažu, a to je jako važno znati, ima ovakvu štetu na zdravlje? Da li želimo cijenom zdravlja platiti razvoj tehnologije? Slično je sa tim i digitalnim novcem koji, evo, provjereno znam da sve što nam treba danas, brze transakcije, kontrola i sve već imamo. Sa digitalnim novcem nećemo dobiti ništa novo, osim mogućnost kontrole od strane upravo onih koji već dugo vremena gledaju na našu slobodu kao nešto što nam očigledno ne treba. A evo da i komentiram ovo što je gospodin rekao, da kad se postavljamo pitanje zašto nam treba, dakle, nemojmo misliti ako nemamo što za reći da sloboda govora malo vrijedi. Hvala vam lijepo na pažnji, hvala vam lijepo što ste napratili još jednu epizodu. Ako ste zadovoljni s ovim što radimo i kako radimo, ako ste zadovoljni sa gostima koji vam dovodimo, nagradite nas, počastite nas kavicom, da nas podržite dalje. Otvarat ćemo teme koje niko ne otvara, kao što znate u mainstreamu. Zašto ne otvaraju, neću špekulirati, iako znam, ali mi smo tu da kao alternativni mediji ponudimo da bude to tematika u vašim domovima, na vašim skupovima, sa vašim prijateljima i da na kraju uistinu kad donosite informaciju, odnosno odluku, da imate pravu informaciju kako bi donijeli kvalitetnu odluku za svoj život, za život svoje djece i za vašu budućnost. Hvala vam lijepo još jedanput i uskoro se vidimo u sljedećoj epizodi.
Nitko vas neće natjerati da se poklonite zvijeri, učinit ćete to svoje voljno, odbacujući vjeru. Bićete laka meta za zvijeri, jer se niste podredili vjeri. Ako se ne podredite vjeri, podredit ćete se zvijeri. Toliko ćete se suobličiti sa ovim svijetom, da nećete ni prepoznati da ste u zabludi. Biće to najveća demonska prevara ikada i pravedno zaslužena osuda nad nepokajanim grešnicima.
Gdje su svi?